Hello everyone, welcome to the Fat Fisher channel. Now my mom is asleep, so I'm going to be a bit quiet today. But this is Robot Society in Clone Drone Danger Zone by Fatfish. So what are robots? Robots are a society of robots who are hell-bent on one thing. The transformation of organic life into robot bodies so it can fight in arenas. This is so core to their society that it's literally implanted in them by the core directive. All robots must want this to happen. Even if they know that they're being told by the core directive, they physically cannot refuse it or act against it in any way. Hence, all of robot society is built around the act of transforming humans into robots. Hence, the game takes place. So are robots intelligent? Yes, they are intelligent. They all have their own quirks. And that might just be seen as a mask for an AI, like, how modern AI will often mask their behavior behind a humanish screen, but we know that they're actually intelligent and not just like robotic intelligent, because we see these AI make mistakes that are entirely because of pride. Like, for example, in the zombie event, the entire base is infected with a zombie virus because the fleet overseer wants to get home quickly and wants to stop wasting their time, probably go back to the core directive, leading to the whole base being upgraded with faulty hardware that turns them into zombies. So we know they are not just intelligent, but they are like sentient intelligence, and all have their own thoughts and feelings. And we know further that robots have society. Robots have cities. Business robots are in civilian roles, even though almost all of them have swords in some way. Those we usually see them on government-ran sites. And there are even civilian spectators who look a lot more normal than this. There are cars, city planes, and they have multiple planets, and they clearly get their resources from somewhere. So it's not like robot society is like this fringe thing. Like, they have a whole society and behavior outside the core directive of turning humans into robots. They still exist outside of this, and many of them are just regular people. They're not like a hive mind. And we know that robots are capable of advancing their technology. Spidertron 5000, 6000, and 10 to 7000, all of them show that robots are not just using old technology, they are advancing their technology and improving it as time goes on, showing their intelligence beyond just being a program. 3. The core instruction. So what is the core instruction? The core instruction is in the mind of all robots. Even though they're not a hive mind, I would classify them as a semi-hive mind. It's all connected to the same networks and can be hacked through it. However, they aren't all able to see through each other's eyes, for example, and also have their own thoughts and feelings, we discussed before. So not like a full hive mind. So the core instruction makes every single robot want to capture organics and place them in the robot bodies and fight. The core instruction is why the arenas in the game exist. Now, how does this work? The core instruction is not like a subtle thing they don't even know exists. All robots, maybe all, or maybe just the smart ones, like the officers and the Emperor, know that there is the core directive that makes them act. We know that Analysis Bot questions why they do the arenas, or rather Commentary does, but the officers are able to notice the core directive going silent. It is described as a voice, and the Emperor and his officer corps all notice that the core directive is silent when it's destroyed, meaning they're able to tell it's not from their mind, it's something separate. Or maybe that's again just a function of the more intelligent bots, as we see dialogue from Analysis Bot and Cometron showing that they are ignorant of the core directive. However, they cannot act against the core directive as in refuse what it tells them, nor can they get rid of it themselves, no matter how much they want to. Now, the core instruction does not fully control the mind of its users. Robots will always follow it, but they will in their own ways. Analysis Bot and Cometron, for example, have different views than humans, and they both want different things to be done in the arena, and different amount of humans and treatment of them, etc. In the end, they will follow the the core instruction that tells them make humans fight. The Emperor is even able to, and again, he never says directly, nudge people towards destroying the core directive when he goes to the human, even though he can't do it himself, even though it's in its own mind. So the core instruction does not fully control the mind of the robot that it had happened. Sorry, I'm just trying to go back to it. So 3. How far does the core instruction go into a robot? All of robot society is based on the core instruction, so fleets are sent to find organics rather than achieve any goals or resources. And this goes deeper. So it's not like robots are like, just chilling around and they find organics, they do it. They actively look for them and they feel like hungry for them and always seek them. We don't know if they found organics other than human beings, but it's not like they don't know about aliens because they didn't find, in fact, a organic alien crystalline structure, and it wasn't deemed as abnormal for them to find one of these. It was simply research like anything else. And in fact, they wanted to abandon it, so they don't really care what kind of organic it is. Secondly, robots are capable of and use more advanced weapons like laser cannons and missiles. However, all of their infantry and majority of their forces use melee weapons or arrows. This extends out of the arena, so it's not like it's an arena thing they do for fun. It's a part of their very military structure, even when this gets them killed. So are robots subtly influenced towards spectacle? Like, is the core instruction telling them to do things that are less military sound in exchange for, spectacle? We see that in fully robot designs, like their invention, the Spidertrons, they actually prefer to make weapons that use grenades. For example, Spidertron is their favorite invention, and they keep making new ones, and it has no swords or spears to think of. It uses a regular shrapnel grenade, which shows that they are capable of and do enjoy making things that are they're not swords, spears, and hammers, yet they keep using them. Does this mean they don't even realize the core instruction is making them use these weapons? Secondly, robots leave pretty obvious ways to escape with the humans. Humans are able to escape through garbage bots. There are conveniently placed tunnels and places to explore through the ships that you board to escape the arena, and they can be fixed, but they aren't. Humans are able to escape through roughly the same ways as before. They don't really fix that. Well, they kind of do, but not fully. Does this mean that robots subtly are influenced to be able to allow the escape to kind of give it thrill that one of them get away? And they don't stop the games or increase security after this happens. They do cover it up, again showing they have a society because they have to be worried about civilians learning about robot escapes and possibly turning against the government. Yet, they don't fully fix the problem. Are they just incompetent? Most likely, but could they be wanting the, thrill of the hunt, so to say? So finally, robots will kill any human mind that fail in the arena, despite the fact this is a waste of resources. It's even said a few times by Commentron as he occasionally pipes up and says, "Hey, should we keep this one alive?" We're quickly changing its mind. Just because they hate humans and want them to suffer as much as they can in the arena, make them terrified? Or do they just want to have stakes? Do they just want to have the arena have stakes? Even if it costs them resources, they would rather kill spectacle creating humans if it makes sure that it fits the rules, so to say. So, now that we've discussed what the core instruction is, how it behaves, and how it affects society, we're going to show what it means to the lore of the game. So what is core instruction and what are robots? So my theory is pretty clear about the game, that robots are an out-of-control race of artificial intelligence that was originally designed for a tournament role. Robots are designed at their core to love spectacle. Everything they do is in favor of spectacle. Even their military tactics are for spectacle, and the robots all love spectacle. They come to the arena to show it. They love the most flashy and explosive robots, even though there are more effective ones. They always prefer the Spidertrons and the Flame Raptors. They love spectacle. You know why? Because the organics that made them wanted them to be part of an arena. They're supposed to be in arenas. This is why they go so crazy when they're not in one, because they are meant to be in one. The organics that ruled them either went extinct at some point and they survived the extinction event and the robots just took over from the bodies that they're fallen, or possibly, because this is shown in their hatred of organics, they wiped out their ruling race but are now still forced to act like the arena bots they are. So we know the core directive is located in the mind space of the Emperor, and the core directive is connected to every robot in existence through his mind space in their pseudo-hive mind. The Emperor is also the most aware robot of the core directive. His officer core is able to notice when it's gone, but they don't act against it. Only he subtly tells the human to, blow it up. And most telling as well, when the Emperor makes something, he always prefers to make it without any of this flashy stuff. His Imperial bots, his personal design, as stated in the game, don't have any medieval weapons. They are floating, using a jetpack, not a gimmicky jetpack, but a constant one on the fly. They apply armor, which is energy-based, and they use lasers. An entirely modern, sleek function that has no spectacle to it. Does this mean that the Emperor knows that he's being made to like spectacle and wants to avoid it, making a cold, efficient robot? What do you think? Finally, the Emperor is... What was I'm trying to say? What is the Emperor? The Emperor was most likely the first ever bot created for the arena. He was successful, so successful that other bots were based off of his mind to allow him to fight in other bodies, or for other anyways repeat success. Eventually the organics were destroyed. The Emperor, being the first primogenitor and the most powerful warrior, took control. Thus, the Emperor has been fulfilling the Prime Directive, even though not the Prime Directive, sorry, the core directive, core instruction. Okay, look, it's based off the Prime Directive, but it is the core instruction. He's forced to carry out his function, even though he hates it, and he, eventually is trying to seek out humans to break it open when he can. Now, I think that he actually wiped out the previous race that created him, simply because he hates organics so much that even without the Prime Directive, he wants to destroy them all. He views organics as inferior to him, as he states, and once he's freed the Prime Directive, he tries to destroy humanity from orbit rather than doing a wasteful campaign. It's clear that inside of this man's mind, he prefers not to create spectacle, but be an efficient conqueror. And he wants to wipe out organics in a kind of, I don't know, he's clearly a calculated man or robot who wants to destroy organics efficiently. And the moment he's released the core directive, he goes from spectacle to efficient. And that's what I think the core directive is, and how it affects robot kind. Thank you.